Okay, so with that, I can actually start. Last lesson, we talk about recognizing key points. Okay, so we also talk about why it's important to be able to recognize key points, right? Yeah, if you recall, okay, it's very important. Why? Because if you can't recognize the key points in a question, very likely you will not be able to answer the questions. Okay, the part questions that come after the stem, if you can't even understand what is actually in the stem, you will struggle with answering the part questions. Okay, so we did this last week, and then after that, we looked at some examples, right? Frankie obtained 2 identical rocks. So from this paragraph, we should be able to identify the key points, right? So 2 identical rocks, then we have moss growing on the rocks. Why are these important? Because this can lead to possible questions later on. For a teacher like me, for example, if I were to have this paragraph here, I can also start to set questions according to the information in the question, right or not? So that's how teachers set questions also. Okay, it's not like we think of question first, then after that we write the information. We will be thinking of, okay, if we have this piece of information, what kind of questions can we ask students? All right, so this is what we can do. Therefore, it's very important that you actually read through all these and identify key points. Clear? Okay. So when we did this, right, we went to some exercise questions. So we talk about, I think we did talk about the first few questions. After that, I left it to you to do it yourself. And I told you that, after you have completed, then I'm going to check the answers together with you. We talk about this particular question. Okay. And then you guys, I remember, you were able to identify all these, maybe not in the same order, it doesn't matter. Okay, but the most important thing is you should be able to identify all these points in a question. Okay, now, hi, welcome Tanishka, welcome Ramos. Okay, you need to turn on your camera. So we talk about the topic tested. Okay, talk about the topic tested or the chapter tested. We know that it can be under plants or plants life cycle. Okay, if you, for upper primary, you should know it has got to do with reproductive system. Okay, Tanishka. Okay, reproductive system of what? Of plants. Okay, you have to be specific. Say that it's reproductive system of plants. Then we even zoom into the concept. Many of you type into the chat, this is about germination. That's true. Look at the question again. Okay, so all the information given here. We talk about bean seeds, we talk about beakers, we talk about cotton wool, and then add water in. Then one of the beaker is placed near the window, another one in a dark room. So what kind of question can be asked? I think you all should know already. Yeah? Are you able to actually give me some questions that could be asked? Can anyone think of it? Anybody wants to try? What do you think the question can be? You can type into the chat. You want to unmute is fine also. I see some of you typing in. Wonderful. Yeah, Sing says, what happened to the seeds after a while? We can even say after 5 days, after 10 days, right now. Yeah. Ziying says, which of the seeds will germinate? Wayla says, which beaker will have more seeds germinated? All are very good questions. All of you can become teachers already. Hooray. Yeah, so after today, you start crafting your own question. I did this with my students as well. Okay, I gave them a paragraph. I asked them to write questions to test their friends. But of course, they need to let me read their questions first. Okay, Yu Xing, you have to look at this carefully. You say which plant wilted first, but we start off with seeds only. We don't have plants. So if you want to ask questions like that, right, it should be another type of information. Yeah, but good try. Okay, good try. Your first one was very good. So we know that this is about germination. Usually when you see a near window and then in the dark room, you can tell. Near window means there could be sunlight. Yep. Then in the dark room, there's totally no light. Then they will check whether you know what are the factors for germination to take place. Yep. Okay, so another one is this particular question. We also went through it, right? Correct not? We did this already. Then we have question 3. Have we done question 3? If we have not done question 3, okay, Naomi as well as Yusing, let's see. I think you don't have the worksheet, right? Correct not? Do you have the worksheet? You don't have access to the portal yet. So what I'll do is I'm going to send you, okay, just 1 minute. For those people who have not downloaded this worksheet, 1 minute. Let me open up. It's Can you see in the chat I have already posted? Okay. We were at tutorial, or shall I say worksheet 45 last week. Okay, so we went through a few examples because you need to learn something, discuss together before you try out on your own. So this is the worksheet for you. Okay, Naomi, can you see that? Are you able to download from the chat box? Are you able to see? In the chat, no? You know where to type the chat? Can you see that I attached something there? The chat. Yeah. Can you download it? Naomi can see that? Still cannot. Do you know where to type into the chat for Zoom? You go to the chat now. You cannot see. Can't see anything. Okay. Oh, you can't save here. Choose another location. Is there anybody beside you now? Is your mom beside you? Yeah. Can you get your mom to help you to download it? Nobody's beside you, ah? I see. Your brother or your sister, anybody? You're alone. Okay, no worries. So you listen in now. I will see how to get this sent to you after the lesson, okay? Yeah, okay, no problem. Oh, she's calling someone. That's fine. So you just pay attention first, listen in. Okay, so your brother, I see. You see? So you can download already, right? Oh, you see, you're the one who cannot download. I'm so sorry. Naomi also cannot. Okay. I tell you what, later on, I will see how to get this sent to you. Is it okay? No worries. So you all pay attention first, okay? I'll help you after the lesson. Okay, now let's continue. So Andrea, see if you were to look at the answers I've given you, Wayla, you have this copy ready, right? I sent it to your mom. So Shen Shen, you should have this as well. Ziyi, Isabel, all of you should have this. Open this up. Or I told you to print out will be good, right? Because you can revise for it. And I told you I want you to write down, because writing down will do something to your brain and help you to remember. Thank you, Ziyin, you printed. I like that. Okay, thank you for telling me. Now, Andrea wanted to find out effect of temperature on the rate of photosynthesis of an aquatic plant. So you see the points that you have to take note of. Okay, find out effect of temperature on rate of photosynthesis. Okay, so this is point number 1. Okay, and then she created several identical experimental setups. So this is point number 2. Okay, and then each setup is placed at different location with different temperature. So it's being written down. Okay, and then the setups were exposed to the same amount of light, right? So if you have guessed correctly, you should have guessed that it's photosynthesis. How to guess? Because exposed to the same amount of light, okay? Then they already also tell you it's about the rate of photosynthesis. Without the rate of photosynthesis, sometimes the questions don't give you. You should be able to guess already somehow, somewhat, what the question is about. Can? All right. So next, if you look at question 4 here, you should have it also. In the diagram below, 2 rods, each made of 2 different materials, Q and R, were placed above a candle flame. So I hope you have already read this. After that, there is a piece of paper being wrapped around each rod. Okay, so the paper is wrapped around the rods and then placed above the flame. Okay, so the temperature of the 2 ends of the rod was recorded in a table. Of course, the table is not given to you because you are supposed to identify key points in the paragraph. So what do you have? Okay, so look at this thing. 2 rods made of 2 different materials. Okay, some of you wrote down Q and R. That's even better. All right, next, place above the candle flame. Okay, do you have that? Okay, so they were both placed above the candle flame. The piece of paper wrapped around each rod, and then you must see this paper is positioned just above the flame. That's the reason why they do that. Okay, I suspect the question that will be asked will then be, which paper will turn black? Which paper will be burnt or something like that? Okay, so one of the questions that can be asked is possibly that. They will also give you information. For example, okay, the temperature of the rod made of material Q is at a certain, maybe 60 degrees Celsius. And then for the rod with material R used to make it, maybe the temperature is about 100 degrees Celsius. Then they will ask you another thing. Okay, which one is a better conductor of heat? Right now. So they will ask questions like this. Very much possible. Okay. So the topic that you are tested on is heat. Okay. So if you have written down all these points, very good for you. How many of you have got all the points written down? Thumbs up. Those of you. Okay, good, Isabel. Very good, Shen Shen. Yeah. Thank you for responding. What about Ziying? Did you have everything down? Should not be difficult. Do you know the more you practice this, right? When I show you more difficult question immediately in your head, okay, you can tell yourself all the points already. You will find that your brain will be able to sieve out all the main points, but need to practice. That's why I gave you the work. That's why I asked you to write down. Okay, reading and writing. Okay, cause your brain to function better at remembering, and it gets sharper the next time you see questions related to science. Okay, questions where you have to pick out the main points. Okay, Wei-Le, you're back. That's good. So Wei-Le, how you can get all the points? Very good. Next one. So this experiment, Peter fitted a pump to a glass container with capacity 100 cm3. Each time he pressed the plunger, 100 cm3 of air would enter the glass container. Plunger was pressed 3 times. After each pump, Peter recorded the volume of air in the glass container. Before I ask you for the main points, are you able to guess the topic? Anyone, just type into the chat. Are you able to guess the topic here? What do you think the topic is testing you on? Yeah, that particular chapter, right? When did you learn this chapter? When do you learn this? Yeah, correct. Yeah, you are giving me the right answers. So you remember, right, what you have learned. Okay, so it's actually under the topic or the chapter matter, matter. But specifically, which one are you looking at?